What's going on? How are you all doing? I'm doing well. Um, it's been a very lovely day, or a very lovely night. Uh, my housemate very kindly offered not only to watch a film with me, but to bake me a birthday cake, as it is my birthday tomorrow. Uh, yeah, the date is Saturday the 6th of November 2021. And yeah, my birthday tomorrow is the 7th of November, as it is every year. That was such a bad joke. Sometimes you sort of hit the mark with jokes, and sometimes you just don't. Yeah, I think we all know what that feels like. But yeah, I thought that I would make a video because I made one a week ago, and I realized I was wearing the same exact top tonight that I wore in the last one. So I figured there'd be quite a cool, funny continuity with that. It is a great top, isn't it? Let's be honest. You will wish you had this top. Yeah. I mean, maybe if you're lucky for the right price. Who knows? Comment below. Start a bidding war in the comments. A bidding war in the comments. Going insane, aren't I? But yeah. I've said this to a lot of people, but my birthday always seems to creep up on me because, for most of the year, I obviously don't really think about it because November seems so far away. In like January, February, on into spring, into summer, like you don't really think about like the end period of the year because the year's just getting going, and you've got stuff on, and then it's summer, and you're just thinking about summer and trying to enjoy summer, and then before you know it, it's like late September, going into October, you're starting school or uni, and suddenly your birthday is actually a matter of weeks away. And I say your birthday, suddenly my birthday is a matter of weeks away, and it always sort of catches me a bit off guard. And then the closer it gets, it just feels a bit more like, oh shit. And I've definitely had that recently. Been very busy the last month. And, even this week's gone fast. Like I was chatting to a friend of mine on Monday. Was it Monday? I think it was Monday. Or was it? It doesn't matter. A day earlier in the week, at the beginning of the week. And yeah, I was chatting to her about this, and I was saying that my birthday was in 6 days. And, but before I knew it, it would be the night before, and it would be tomorrow. And that's literally what's happening now. I don't even know what time is it now. And my birthday is literally in under an hour. That's crazy. But yeah, birthdays, eh? What do you think about birthdays? I'd like to know your thoughts, so comment below. What's been your best birthday? What's been your worst birthday? What's been the most average birthday? What is your average birthday if you have one? What's your typical birthday celebration if you're lucky enough to celebrate your birthday? I don't know what mine is. I always sort of romanticize the idea of just spending a day by myself, just not talking to anyone, just reflecting on my life. But I think I'm just stealing that from Viggo Mortensen. I watched an interview with him many years ago. Well, not many years ago, a few years ago. I don't think I'm quite old enough to use the phrase many years ago. I'm only turning 22. But a few years ago, I saw an interview with Viggo Mortensen. For those of you who don't know him, he played Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. And I think it might have been his birthday during the interview or something like that, or his birthday had been recently or whatever. Anyway, the topic of birthdays came up, and the interviewer asked him, I think it was a Studio Q interview. You can probably find it on YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube, can't you? Don't we all know that? But that's what he said, that his favourite birthdays are when he's just kind of allowed to be very reflective. And I kind of stole that. I'm tempted to steal that, but I don't think that's true. And I think that if I was 50 odd or however old he was in the interview, I might feel that way when I have decades behind me. But really, I've only got 2 decades at push, a decade and a half, maybe even just one. I guess that's an interesting question, isn't it? Like, when do you say that your life begins? It really begins. Is it when you're born, or did something happen to you when you were 5 and you suddenly woke up? Something big happened to you when you were a child and you feel like that's when your life began? Or did your life begin when you started to sort of have your own opinions and, started to really feel things at a certain age, maybe when you were 12 or 13? If some of you are watching this and thinking, I don't feel like my life has begun, then don't worry about it. I'm sure it will happen. Just sit with yourself and try and start some self-awareness, kickstart some self-awareness. I don't know. I think my ideal birthday is hopefully, God willing, the day that I'm going to have with my family tomorrow. I think that'll be my ideal birthday. It's just going home for a day and just hanging out with, my favorite people in the whole world, which are my family. My mum, my 2 sisters, my dog, who has featured on this channel, and my best friend hopefully is also gonna come and hang out, and we're just gonna chill and have food, and I think we're gonna watch Attack of the Clones, the best Star Wars film. Don't we all know it? But I think that's my ideal birthday. Something quite low-key, quite simple, where you're with the people that you love the most, and it's very intimate, very private, and just nice. No pressure. We're not going out, we're not doing anything. We're just gonna enjoy each other's company. I think I've always been of the opinion that the best gift you can give anybody is your time. It's the most precious thing you have, of course, I think, and if you give it to somebody, then that you're giving your essence. You're giving, the most kind of precious thing that you can give anybody. It's time. And that's why I'm always grateful when people do give me their time, because I think I recognize that is the most valuable thing that they have, even if they don't necessarily think that or believe that, or it matters a lot to me. Because I think we can get caught up in sort of maybe thinking subconsciously, or feeling subconsciously, or thinking that, we've got loads of time, we've got unlimited time. We don't kind of underestimate or forget the real value of time. We think that maybe life's going to go on forever, or we ignore the fact that it's not. It's getting quite morbid now. I don't think it will stay here for very long. But and that's why I think tomorrow for my birthday, I think it's my ideal birthday. Just spending time, giving and receiving time with and to the people that I love most. Yeah. Tell me about your favorite birthday. What's your ideal birthday? Might require some thought, but I think it's an interesting thing and a useful thing to think about, because then you can think ahead to your birthdays and sort of maybe cater to that. But yeah, it was bonfire night. Didn't do anything for it. I was out doing tennis coaching. I got my qualification, my level 2 qualification in the summer. Did my level 1 in the spring, got my level 2 in the summer. And I've started coaching at my uni, coaching 2 teams once a week on the same night, Friday night, for 2 1.5 hour sessions, so 3 hours in total. And so I was doing that last night. But Yeah, that's been very rewarding, I think, doing coaching. It's not always easy, and I do make, a considerable amount of errors. But it's all useful. I think the overall growth is upwards, you know. I hope so anyway. But it's very fulfilling. It's a very fulfilling line of work, sort of helping people improve their game. And when people say, "Oh, what you told me has helped me improve my game," it's just quite incredible, really. Even though it is my job, it's still kind of, wow, I've actually helped this person. They've said that. But yeah, it's an interesting challenge, and one I'm looking forward to tackling. Again, it's only once a week, so it's only 3 hours a week. But yeah, try and improve. But yeah, Bonfire Night is a bit weird, that, isn't it? It's a bit mad if you think about it. This isn't a novel thought, but the fact that every year we get together and do we celebrate? I guess we do celebrate. I don't know, but is Bonfire Night a celebration? I don't get that vibe for the the events that I've been to on it. It's kind of like weird. We get together and just sort of light some shit on fire, and why are we doing this? Well, in 1605, I think it was 1605, some Duke or Guy Fawkes tried to blow up Parliament and kill the king. Fair enough. As you were. It's a bit funny. But I mean, why not? Fuck it, right? Like, it's something to do, isn't it? Yeah. It's a bit mad. What would Guy Fawkes think if he knew that we were doing this? Would he be annoyed? I guess he would be annoyed because he failed, but, I guess he's been remembered by history nonetheless, even if it's quite a bizarre sort of like, it's quite a bizarre event, a bizarre annual occasion. That's quite weird. But yeah, I don't know if I've got much more to say, to be honest. I think I'm going to keep this one pretty, I say, short. It's been 12 and a half minutes. That just shows you my understanding of time. But yeah, I think that I'm very grateful for the last year. I've experienced an awful lot of pain and loneliness, for one thing. I've had lonelier periods this year than I think I've ever had in my whole life. A lot of it, I think, was due to sort of COVID and stuff like that, but not necessarily. As it's widely known, you can be in a room full of people and feel lonelier than you ever could by yourself. And I've definitely experienced both, where sat in my room and just aching for some sort of company, but also, yeah, being at parties, being at events, and feeling so utterly disconnected from everyone around me, that you just sort of think, wow, being connected is such a valuable and, necessary medicine, But yeah, well, I think this year I think that I hate to say that I've grown, because you hear that all the time. I've grown through this experience, but I think that experiencing pain, if you process it in the proper manner, and if you allow it to allow it to wash you over, maybe even allow it to kill you, go through that kind of death, let it happen, because I think it needs to happen. I think it was Russell Brand, who I'm actually going to read a passage from his book, one of his books, to finish, but something he said in a video was, all pain is an invitation to burn ego. And I just think that's so twistedly, poetically true. I've definitely burnt a lot of ego this year. Not even I've burnt it, it's been burnt, it's been completely destroyed, murdered in fact. But it's a necessary death. You know, it's a necessary and good death. I think ego death. But yeah, and hopefully out of it I've become a more grateful, a more gracious, a more empathetic, a more supportive and honest person. But nothing to rest my laurels on. There's plenty of more work to do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And it's impossible for me to look ahead towards the next year. I don't really know how to do that. It's very daunting if you think about the whole of the next year. So I'll just take each day as it comes. Again, a cliche, but it's just true. It's kind of what you have to do. Take one challenge at a time, cross one bridge at a time, and, you know, try and get through each day as best as you can, and without hurting people and helping others, but also helping yourself, and remembering what's important. Family and friendships, and, you know, allowing yourself to be swept up by your destiny, whatever that is. But I think we all know what our destinies are. And if you don't, just keep going and it will reveal itself. You know, listen to your innermost self. Sit with them and converse with them and listen to them. And you'll find all the answers you need. Yeah, so I look forward to next year at least finding out more answers to the infinity of questions that I still have. But I think I will do a reading, as I did last week, to finish, and end with a message of hope, because what better way is there to end any conversation? So this reading is from Russell Brand's My Bookie Wook. I don't know if it was his first book, it might have been. But yeah, it's the ending of the book, so spoiler alert, but I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but it's very beautiful, a beautiful story. Yeah, here we go. In the 12 steps, you're taught to make amends rather than just apologizing. But by way of mitigation, I felt a tremendous compulsion to express myself, not in a smutty fashion, artistically. From the first school performance in Grays, I've been in pursuit of a destiny that always felt beyond my reach. The most insightful thing I ever heard was overheard. I was waiting for a rail replacement bus service in Hackney Wick. These two old women weren't even talking to me, not because I'd offended them, I hadn't. I'd been angelic at that bus stop, except for the eavesdropping. Rail replacement buses take an eternity, because they think they're doing you a favour by covering for the absent train. You've no recourse. Eventually, the bus appeared on the distant horizon, and one of the women, with the relief and disbelief that often accompanies the arrival of public transport, said, "Oh look, the bus is coming." The other woman, a wise woman, seemingly aware that her words and attitude were potent and poetic enough to form the final sentence in a stranger's book, paused, then said, "The bus was always coming." The bus is always coming.